Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It's presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. All right, today is Monday, December 13th, and again, welcome to the show. Hey, we're live here on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia, and we're live on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. And just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button and hit that share button. And of course, you can leave comments during the show on all of those stations, such as YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. So please do it and say hi. All right, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Money Chat Now is, of course, brought to you by Investor Schooling. And you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. You'll be able to learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, on today's show, this is the topics we'll be discussing. Of course, we'll be talking about the futures update. I also wanted to mention some things in the news this weekend that were interesting, so I'm going to bring that up as well. Hey, my favorite Dr. Fraudski continues his fraud. And of course, we'll go into Biden and his COVID stuff. And we're also going to be talking about company buybacks being at a high. We're going to be talking about working in the metaverse. Did you guys get your things yet? Your Oculus yet? All right. We'll also be talking about lithium prices and Boeing delays the Dreamliner. We're also going to be talking about wages and inflation. Hey, I'm hearing that we may have a problem over at WWDB. We may not be on the air. Hey, Matt, get back to me. Let me know. But I'm going to continue the show anyway. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the futures. It was a good week in the market last week as the Dow is up about 1,200 points for the week as investors shook off the moronic variant. And of course, don't disconnect. Wait, don't disconnect unless she's telling you to. I'm sorry, guys. We're just having a little bit of sound, a little bit of problem on the radio. I wouldn't disconnect. I see it going out there. All right, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm going to catch up here. And the S&P actually hit its best week for February. And today it looks like it's going to be a slow and easy day. All right, sorry about that, guys. It sounds like we're on. Maybe there's some problem on the other side, the person reporting the problem. That's fine. All right, let me go back into reality here. So let's talk about some news mentions. So there was some rough news this weekend in Kentucky where over 80 people died as tornadoes ravaged through Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Man, it was like a 220-mile path. It was horrible. It was devastating. Anyway, you also know that an Amazon warehouse was destroyed and at least 6 workers died. And here's also another weird mention, by the way, of the weekend. Chris Wallace is leaving Fox News and going to CNN. I tried to think of a joke in the comment, but I guess the joke is really in the statement itself, so I'll repeat it. Chris Wallace is leaving Fox News and going to CNN. All right. Anyway, another news mention is that we lost Michael Nesmith of the Monkees, and he died at 78. So if you guys are Monkees fans, you know, that's also sad. There's only one left. I think it's Mickey Dolenz is the only one's left. Anyway, all right, let's get into some political stuff right now. Let's talk about one of my favorite people in the entire world. Can you hear the sarcasm? We're going to be talking about Dr. Fraudski. Hey, did you ever go to the doctor and you were diagnosed with something serious and the doctor immediately scheduled for surgery? Hey, did you maybe get a second opinion? Did you ask any questions? Well, I kind of hope you did. But why is it that we continue to have the only opinion on the scamdemic coming from Dr. Fraudski? Is he the only doctor in the world that Americans can follow? Recently, Fraudski announced that you, that's right, you, should ask your family if they're vaccinated before inviting them over for a holiday dinner. Hey. He also had good news for the sheeple, by the way, when he said Omicron is definitely less severe than Delta. It just maddens me, this stupidity. You know, I think it was all created by someone who wanted to cure the common cold. And I know I haven't had a cold in a year. All right, why don't we continue to listen to these people and be fearful of this tyrant, honestly? You know, by the way, he has more good news. He's also saying that 2 shots without a booster is still considered fully vaccinated. You know, he's clearly a walking contradiction of himself. Do you remember almost 2 years ago when he said that masks don't do anything, and then he flip-flopped on masks? Just wait. The time for the doctor and the Democrats to make more money on Moderna's stock is coming, so he will say that in order to be fully vaccinated, you will need at least one booster. People, stop the madness. This political science is going way too far. Just stop it. And of course, let's get into Biden and his BS with COVID. At the debate between Trump and brain-dead Biden, brain-dead actually said, and I quote, 220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else, I say tonight, hear this. Anyone that's responsible for that many deaths should not remain President of the United States of America. Really? That's what he said at the debate. What a $. And for those who aren't counting, there have been 386,000 COVID deaths this year. More than when Trump was president. Hey, brain-dead, follow your own advice and resign. The reason I bring this up is because Biden's approval rating just keeps dropping, and now his approval rating on the scandemic situation is also dropping. The interesting part of the news article I obtained this information from does not actually state the actual number of the rating, which is really funny. They actually are avoiding the number on the rating of his rating on the scandemic, but they do say the approval rating on the economy is a mere 37%. Wow, that's really awful. In another poll, 41% of the people polled say that they feel the economy is going to get worse next year. Wow. Inflation has now firmly eclipsed the coronavirus as the number one concern for the country, with these two issues followed by immigration, crime, and climate change. Have you been watching the news? Yes, that's what they say. When they talk about whatever it is they talk about, that's the number one concern. So now it's the economy, it's inflation, and it's, of course, crime. Well, all I can say is, let's go, Brandon. Go ahead, put it in the comments. Let's go, Brandon. For those listening on the radio, just yell it out the window as you pass the gas station with the prices of gas displaying a 40% increase from last year. Go ahead, scream it. Let's go, Brandon. I want to see that in the comments because it's hysterical. All right, anyway, let's talk about some stock buybacks in the stock market. This past third quarter showed a record of stock buybacks from companies. And look, the buybacks totaled 234.5 billion shares. This is part of the reason we saw such an increase in the stock market in that quarter. Coming up, we'll see more buybacks, and Microsoft Corp said in September that its board has approved a plan to repurchase up to $60 billion worth of its stock. Hertz Global Holdings, the car rental company, recently said it would buy back as much as $2 billion of its stock, while tech company Dell said it's planning $5 billion share repurchase program. Look, I know what you're thinking. Does these mean these stocks are going to go up, or does it mean it's going to go down? Well, the answer, for the most of the time, is kind of up. However, the problem isn't the question, it's when do you ask the question. Most companies' stock prices go up when the buyback is announced, and typically they rise for a small period, and eventually that rise stops, and the fundamentals and the popularity of the stock takes over the price. So it may go up, it may not go up. All the aforementioned stocks have already seen the benefit from the announcements, so it's kind of too late. I would just kind of not really worry about the buybacks. All right, let's talk a little bit about working in the metaverse. Just when you thought you've had enough of this all right, let's do this one more time. Just when you thought you had enough of the conspiracy theories for the scamdemic, that's a lot to say, right? Bill Gates writes a blog about how corporate world will be living and working in the metaverse. No, really. He really wrote this. In the blog, he discusses the idea of everyone working from home, wearing virtual reality glasses like the Oculus. By the way, I ordered mine last week. I don't know if you guys ordered them, but I had to order them. Anyway, having virtual meetings is just like you're in the room with other participants. It's going to be very interesting. The conspiracy theory side of me says, oh, now I know why we were forced to test drive working at home. And the geek side of me says, this is going to be really cool. Anyway, Gates feels that we will have these virtual meetings within 2 to 3 years. Look, it reminds me of a personal story. In 1994, I was in the computer consulting and staffing business, and I remember seeing a client who told me he wanted all of the resumes for the candidates to be sent for a specific job to go to an email. I swear, I looked at him puzzled and said, what's email? All right, let's take a break, and we're going to talk to you in a couple of minutes, and we will see what we got on the other side.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. And of course, thanks for listening on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia. I'm assuming it's going out. We got a report that it wasn't, but I'm assuming it is. If you're watching online, please hit the share button. And this way you can help your friends learn about how to make some more money. Of course, hit that like button and let me know you enjoy the show. And leave some comments on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I'll try to respond to them live. Hey, I want to say hello to some people watching online. Hey, Eric, what's happening, man? Thank you so much for watching. Hey, Bill, and of course, Mick as well. And I see my lovely wife is watching as well. That's awesome. Okay. By the way, this is what we've been discussing so far. So we've been discussing the futures update. Let's talk real quick about the Dow. Is actually up only 12 points at the moment. The S&P is up only 9.5 points, and the NASDAQ is actually up 63 points. Now, it was kind of up about 100 points earlier, and I don't know, not much happened, but it looks like it's probably going to be just one of those days that's not much is going to happen. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. We've also been talking about some news mentions like the tornado. We've been talking about Dr. Fauci and Biden and all the COVID BS. We've been talking about company buybacks and, of course, working in the metaverse. Coming up, we're going to be talking about lithium price rises. And, of course, we're going to be talking about the stock tips and picks of the day. All right, let's start off a little bit about lithium. Because lithium is a really important, it's a really important product being produced right now. And, you know, all the electric cars being produced is causing a supply and demand issue for lithium. Now, lithium is the main chemical component in the batteries that are used for electric cars. So if you ever look at the batteries on your phone, they're lithium batteries, the cars are lithium batteries, everything that you work with that's a rechargeable battery is a lithium battery. Now, lithium prices have risen more than 240% over the past year. Now, here's interesting, of course, as always. One of the problems with mining lithium, of course, is government regulations. It seems that whenever a good idea is created, like electric cars, the government will slow down progress. Now, check this out. Right now, most of the lithium comes from Australia and Chile. Then there's the refining of lithium and battery production. Now, guess who heads the industry of battery production and refining of lithium? That's right, China. China! Oh. This is a very dangerous situation for us in America. Listen, we get our oil from Russia and Russia allies, and we get our batteries from China. What could possibly go wrong? I'll let you use your imagination here, but you know, here are some lithium companies that you might want to invest in. So there's a company called Rio Tinto with the symbol Rio, Piedmont Lithium with the symbol PLL, and Standard Lithium with the symbol SLI. You know, I also looked them up, and I got to tell you that most of these stocks trade with very little volume. And with that being said, they may just be, they may be stocks to put in a drawer somewhere and, have the future go up. But personally, I'm going to pass on them. My thoughts on the whole lithium battery issue concerns me, but somehow I think another fuel source may be on the horizon with, like, let's say, hydrogen, right? So hydrogen might be it, right? By the way, Nikola is the hydrogen leader, and Nikola is trading at about 10 right now, and it usually goes to about 13 and then pulls back. So I'm actually going to say it might be a good buying opportunity. Hey, I want to thank Kittens for tuning in. We haven't seen her since I moved the time. She's my favorite troll. All right, let's talk a little bit about Boeing's Dreamliner. Two of the stocks I'm currently investing in, of course, are in the news article together. Yeah, that figures. As you may know, Boeing has been building a new jet called the Dreamliner, and it's been becoming a nightmare. By the way, I would tell you, take a look up Dreamliner, and take a look at the pictures in the interior. It's really a neat kind of looking interior. It's all compartment seating, and it looks like something high tech. But I gotta tell you, it really looks kind of uncomfortable. Anyway, for the COVIDiots out there, it looks like the seats are actually 6 feet apart. For real, look at it. Anyway, American Airlines, is my other big play, is cutting back international flights this summer because of delays in the production in the Dreamliner. Hey. So American and other airlines are expecting a huge summer as COVID coma wears off and people actually start traveling again. Hey, American Airlines, give some of that stock to Dr. Frodsky so maybe he could shut the heck up and let Americans live freedom again. American Airlines stock, by the way, is around 18, which is relatively low, and I think it's a bargain. BA is also trading at about 205, and I also think that's a bargain. I like both plays as we head into earnings season. And look, if Gestapo Joe would just drop the useless mask mandate for planes, maybe the world would fill planes again. Look, who put this idiot in the White House anyway? Was it you kittens? It must have been you kittens. Let's talk about raises and inflation. We've been discussing the fact that this year is the highest inflation recorded in 4 decades. So what does that mean to wages? Well, the average Joe worker is paying more for everything, such as food, gas, heating, cars, maintenance, and of course, even Christmas gifts. Most workers are used to receiving a wage increase when the year changes, but this year most increases are not going to be at the rate of inflation. In the past, inflation usually lingered about 1 to 2%, and wage increases were about 3% on average. This year, many employers are predicting to give the same type of wage increase of about 3%. If you remember, on Friday, I reported that Google surprisingly was not giving raises this coming year. On the other hand, many employees have walked off the job and receiving higher wages from their new employer. As an entrepreneur, I got to tell you, I make my own internal economy, and I encourage everyone to do the same. For example, at this time, I could stay home and make more money than the average C-level worker by just collecting rent from my properties. But if you're a worker bee, and by the way, there's nothing wrong being a worker bee, and that's what you want to be, that's fine, but you're going to have a tougher time in the upcoming year making ends meet. I might suggest you look at a higher paying job or even pay attention to the next commercial about how you can learn to do what I'm doing, and then in time you might even have a radio show in the morning if you really want to do it. Anyway, we'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from 2 Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. And if you want to learn how to make more money, go to investorschooling.com or you can call 866-424-2829 and you can find out about this class on Thursday. I'm looking forward to having you if you guys want to join us. All right, so far we've been talking about the futures update, and the Dow is up about 21 points, the S&P is up 11 points, and the NASDAQ is up 68 points right now. Yeah, like I said, it's probably going to be a slow day. We talked about some news mentions like the tornadoes, that's terrible. We talked about Dr. Frodsky and Gestapo Joe Biden. We also talked about company buybacks being at a high, and that may be good for the future, but we'll see. We talked about working in the metaverse and how Bill Gates is saying that it's going to happen in the next 2 years. We've been talking about lithium price rising, so that's going to make cars more expensive, of course, electric cars, that is. We talked about Boeing delaying their Dreamliner, and we talked about wages and inflation and how the fact that wages are not going to go up the same rate as inflation, and it's going to make it tough for some people to actually pay their bills. And we could all blame the same person for that one. All right, coming up is today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Did you hit the share button? Let everyone know what great stock picks are about to come up, because I'm going to be talking about some great stock plays, and you could share on your page or in groups, and you could share it with anyone that you feel would benefit from great stock plays. All right, you can also leave comments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn. And of course, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about politics behind the stock market and what's going on. All right, let's talk a little bit about what is happening today. So first of all, it was a great recovery week last week as the stock market moved higher. You know, I predicted in October, and if you were in some of my classes, I predicted in October that we would see a big drop in the middle of November, and sure enough, I actually said the Dow would fall to about 34,500, and in November it hit the low of about 34,100 and then launched back, just as predicted. The market basically should be pretty calm for the rest of the year, and look, possibly we'll get a Santa Claus rally and it'll push the Dow into record territory again, but it is fine. We're actually doing pretty well. We're now over the hump, and look, earnings season is for many of my favorite stocks are coming up in January, and if you're down in any place, hold on tightly because earnings season usually will push them up again. So that's fine, that's all good. It means that we will definitely see the stocks moving up. All right, so let's talk a little bit about also on Friday, Oracle had great earnings report, and it said it catapulted the stock about 15%. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but the AWS crash, the Amazon Web Services crash last week also helped push this stock, as believe it or not, management at Oracle said that it would never happen with Oracle Cloud Services. I'm telling you right now, they're going to regret that they said that, but hey, good for them. That's fine, whatever, right? Also, Ford is unstoppable. You know, I can't believe it that Ford is actually almost at 22 now. And of course, this is after I decided to bail on the stock because I got burned so many times. I also want to talk real quick about Rivian, because I can't believe it, but Rivian was named the #1 car, or the #1 upcoming car for 2022. They don't even have a car yet. Or the truck yet, I should say. #1 truck, not #1 car. #1 truck. They don't even have a truck yet, and they're named as the #1 truck. I'm still waiting for Rivian to drop below 90. It may not happen after that announcement, but I'm still waiting for Rivian to drop below 90 because I think that's where it's a play, and we'll have to take a look and see what happens. But it's not bad. I actually find it hysterical that Rivian is actually the #1 truck when Ford should be the #1 truck because they have the Lightning, and it's the same truck. But all right, that's fine, whatever. I think it's all political, or it's an announcement just to make Rivian stock go up because Rivian stock has been tanking. The other unstoppable stock, of course, is Apple. Look, this is going to 200 fast. All I can hope for is a really bad news article to push the stock lower and I'll be able to jump back in. It's coming. I just don't know if we're going to get down low enough for me to be able to get in. I'd like to see it below 150. I just don't know if it's going to happen real fast. So if it does happen below 150, I'd say get in, buy, and hold because it's going to be an awesome play. You know, I've noticed that Moderna keeps moving down. Now, this is really funny because I noticed that Moderna started moving down, which makes me think another variant or bad news on the scamdemic will be coming soon. Look, I'm sure that a few Democrats, including Dr. Frodsky, are still holding on to this cash cow. So what happens? I write this article this morning, and what happens? Sure enough, Boris Johnson says, someone just died from the Omicron variant. Really? And what happens? Moderna stock is already up 5 points. You know, I cannot tell you how manipulative this scamdemic really is. But there you go. Another variant or bad news is the scamdemic is coming, and it's going to happen again. All right. Don't forget also to order my book. It's you can pre-order my book called Money Hacks. It's with the subtitle because everything you think you know about money is wrong. Hey, it's a very, very different book than Dave Ramsey, that's for sure. It's completely the opposite of everything Dave Ramsey tells you to do. And I'm going to tell you that if you want to get rich quick, or not quick, quicker, because I don't believe in getting rich quick. I believe in getting rich quicker. You know, according to Dave Ramsey, you're going to have to get rich. It's going to take you 30 years to get rich. According to me, you can get rich in 5 to 10 years. All right, anyway, you can pre-order the book, Money Hacks, on barnesandnoble.com. I also want to talk a little bit about the crypto scene. So crypto is moving down again as Bitcoin is hovering around 49,000. Ethereum is also hovering around 4,000, and it looks like the entire crypto market is just stalling. It's just nothing's happening in the crypto market. I've seen this before, and it's kind of odd because whenever the crypto market stalls, all of a sudden, it kind of like goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. People forget about it, and the next thing you know, it pops. I don't know. I mean, it probably will pop again, but it's tough. It's tough when you consider the fact that wow, it just keeps going down. And eventually it's going to be worth a lot less than these numbers, I would have to think. But hey, it is what it is. Whatever it's worth, it's worth. All right, of course, gold and silver aren't even moving at all. There's nothing happening with gold and silver whatsoever. And of course, that makes me sad, but it also makes it a good buying opportunity. I would start buying and holding actual physical gold and silver, and that would be a big help for you too. We also talked about the Treasury bond, which, by the way, is sitting at 1.465. So nothing really happening there. And of course, when the Treasury moves up, tech stocks move down. So what I need for Apple is I need the Treasury to move up 1.5 or 2 points. I'm not 1.5. That would be, if it moves up 2 points, the market would tank. I'm sorry. I'm talking about 1/4 point. and then Apple will tank. That would be fantastic. Of course, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB. And, as usual, you guys on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, make sure you share it. You can even share it after the show as well. So make sure you do that as well. All right. I'm just laughing. Kittens, she found me again. So she's my #1 troll, and she found me again, and she's just leaving comment after comment after comment because she's totally bored. Actually, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, because who knows in this world. Anyway, if you're online and you're watching live on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, I want to thank you for your continued support. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and don't forget to make some comments for Kitten as well. Like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook, and of course, we will see you guys tomorrow at the same time and same channel, and have an awesome, profitable day.